गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are on verse 155 on page 571. In the next OV, the Paramatma is defined in the most beautiful way as Sahaja, naturally effortless existence. And that is true about ourselves also. We are also naturally, effortlessly existing. The efforts come when ownership comes. The efforts come when the doer comes. The efforts come when the enjoyer comes. Otherwise, and in spite of all these, still everything is going on, happening in its own effortless way. Breathing is going on, digestion is going on, the life is expressing through this body in an effortless way. It is not, when you get identified with the body, then, oh my God, I think I'm dying. But otherwise, no problem. Child doesn't have these doubts. So here he says, Sahaje anaghechi ahe tari kavana pahe tena dekhaneci ahe swarupa nidra. The world is naturally effortless existence. In that case, who will see whom? This non-seeing of otherness is self-abidance. The self is effortless natural existence where pure knowledge is evident. Where is the question of the seer and the seen? Who will know what? What does effortless existence mean? Where there is individuality, there is a purpose, a thought of achievement, a fear of loss, possibility of extinction, etc. Where effort is involved, truth is far, far away. Effortlessness is the manifestation of divinity. The sun sheds light unasked and expects no appreciation. That effortlessness is termed as Swatmani Sthita. Swa Atmani Sthita means Swa means self. Atmani is also the in yourself, the one who is established in himself or herself, in the Atman. I shouldn't say in herself or himself, the one who is established in the Atman. So Atmani. All the sense of otherness vanishes, and that is what the whole meditation we began, that contemplation is one thing. On the other hand, purification of the mind must come about as a result of contemplation or devotion. And if that does not happen, we will continue to have the challenge in abiding in the truth. Abiding in the truth is not by our efforts. It happens by grace. But efforts have to be put, but in the right manner. And what is that right manner? In meditation we told, interact with the divine theme, interact with the Lord intensely, lovingly. Then it happens. Otherwise you have been taking the name of the Lord for so long, We have been contemplating on the self for so long. So we remain only in the head. The heart is not developed. See? We know, no, I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know this. Have you cried for yourself? Have you cried for the Lord? See? And when that head and heart come together, then the revelation will take place. From the point of view of water, there is no question of ocean or wave. In the same way, everything is as it is, eternal. It is so self-evident that it requires no authority. How beautiful. Truth does not requires no means, no inference, no authority to prove its existence. Do we need the scriptures to prove the existence of the truth?
I would think not.
No. We don't need the scriptures to prove the existence of the truth. Because of the truth, the scriptures are. See? Again it comes down to the same thing. The statement that we make. I am, therefore thinking happens. Not the other way around. I think, therefore I am. That is a wrong statement. And now, for this thinking to resolve itself, what is the type of thoughts what are the type of thoughts you must think? What are the types of thoughts you must think?
The single pointed.
The scriptural thoughts. Scriptures are for reprogramming your mind. That's all. Not to establish the self. Scriptures are not there to re-establish the self. They are only reprogramming the mind. Self is self-established, isn't it? That, focus, be single-pointed, be focused, think of the Lord's name or contemplate on the self. You are not telling the self, you are telling the mind. This study that we are doing here, you are not telling the self, you are telling the mind. The mind is enjoying the contemplation. The mind is enjoying the meditation. Self doesn't need meditation. Self doesn't need contemplation. Self doesn't need satsang. It is always established in itself. Then who needs it? The mind. The truth is defined as the truth is other than the known and above the unknown, Kenopanishad, and he who comprehends it both as the known and as the unknown, he indeed comprehends it.
Can you explain that?
What?
He comprehends it both as the known and the unknown.
Please listen to my lectures on the retreat which you attended on Kenopanishad. Okay. Truth is other than the known and the unknown. Means what? Where is known and unknown? In the mind. Known and unknown are two concepts of the mind. Truth is other than the mind. What did you say?
Manifest and unmanifest.
But where is that a manifest? It's in the mind. Always come back to that. So the known and unknown, these two ideas are presented, or whatever is known by the mind. Whatever is not known or you are ignorant of, that is also by the mind only. If you want to put it into a more broader context, waking and dream are the known, deep sleep is the unknown, right? Truth is other than the three, other than the two. And the other one, he who comprehends it both as the known and as the unknown, he indeed comprehends it. This comprehension does not come through understanding. It comes by being. And what is that being? The one who comprehends that all the limbs are there are nothing but an expression of that one body. Right? And unknown, just at the body level, all the functions that are taking place inside the body, I am not moving anything, I don't know how it is moving, but that is also included in the body only, isn't it? In that one body. Similarly, the one who is able to come to this disposition that everything that is known and unknown, meaning the waker with the waking world, dreamer with the dream world is the known, and the deep sleeper with the deep sleep world is the unknown. All of them are pervaded or are an expression or cannot be without the self. Such a person only knows the truth. So on one hand is the truth, the reality is other than the waking dream and deep sleep, and having come to know the reality, then realizing that the waking, deep sleep and dream are nothing but pervaded by the self alone. This is the complete. First you are going away from everything, then everything is being included in the definition of I. One who knows in this manner alone truly knows. Okay? In this way, that which is causeless existence, that which is purposeless knowledge, and that which is independent of everything, Satchidananda, that is the truth, that is abidance in one's own essential self, Swarupa Nidra. Just as in deep sleep, Nidra, the seer seen seeing is totally absent, so also in the absolute self, there is total absence of the trio. For one to be, there is nothing to be done. You are always. As long as doing is signified or doing is taking place, efforts are being taking place. For putting efforts, an individual must be there, a doer must be there, isn't it? Until that person is there who is putting efforts, you're still away from the truth. Putting efforts must lead to effortlessness, and that happens only while putting efforts at the level of thought, word or speech, thought, word or deed. We offer everything at the feet of the Lord, or we see that it is happening in the presence of the consciousness that I am. When this disposition is kept, and an intense interaction in the significance of these statements is, we expose our mind to that, then effortlessness will come. Otherwise we are just going on mechanically, that's all. So just as I was giving the example of waking dream and deep sleep, here even the Triputi, the triad, the knower, known, knowing, they are also taking place only because of the self, and self alone is expressing as all of them. Swamiji has said, and the example has come many times, and that is from the oceans. From the waves point of view, there is ocean and there is an infinite water. From the waves point of view. But the wave is not able to see that it is also made up of water only. This is its problem. Why? Its attention is on its form. Its attention is not on its essence. So, oh Lord, please help me. I have to surrender to the Lord. Oh, absolute, I have to get there. Yeah, I understand, I must be water, but I am not realizing it is already. Then what is that which is coming in between the wave and the water? What is coming in between?
The prayer, the mind.
The mind, correct. The mind is coming in between. So realization is not reaching any destination. Realization is removing or dissolving the mind and reclaiming who you essentially are. If you dissolve the mind and are not affected by the mind for any reason, any thought that comes, any emotion that comes, any concept that comes, any idea that comes, any thought that comes, and you are undisturbed, eventually the mind will dissolve and you will remain, as long as you don't go to sleep. Just as in deep sleep, the seer seen seeing is totally absent, so also in the absolute self there is absence of the trio. So we are already experiencing the absence of the trio. The knower known knowing, the experience experienced and experiencing, the seer seen seeing, the hearer heard hearing, the taster tasted tasting. We are already experiencing it on a daily basis. Where is that? In deep sleep. We know in deep sleep there was no knower, there was no seer, there was no seen, there was no seeing. But we are ignorant of that fact. Only after waking up we come to know, yeah man, there was nobody there. And I don't know. It was when we can bring about that absence of seer, seen, seeing, the trio, while being awake, it's all over. And where can trio appear? Only in the mind. So when the trio appears, it is the manifest mind. When the trio disappears, the triad disappears, it is the unmanifest mind, isn't it? So what did he say before? Kenopanishad said, the truth is beyond the known and the unknown. The truth is beyond the manifest and the unmanifest. So in this context, you look at your experiences, not the outside experience. That will go on. In this context, you come back to experience yourself. That I am that in whose presence this manifestation, unmanifestation, knower, known is coming and going, or is happening. But when no effort is needed to be a meditator. But when one struggles to become a meditator, only the individuality is strengthened. Nor is meditation a repeatable experience, because meditation happens and cannot be made to happen. Meditation cannot be made to happen. We can come to the seat of meditation, we can sit in meditation, we can contemplate on various thoughts in our mind, but the actual absorption or the state of awareness or awareness of being that takes place, that cannot be brought about. Just like as long as you are putting efforts to sleep, sleep has not happened. Sleep happens when the conditions are right, isn't it? Till the attention is on the sleep and I have to turn this way, I have to turn that way, I have to put the lights off, I have to put the fan on, I have to do this, I have to do that. Now I want to sleep, I want to sleep, I want to sleep. Till then you have not slept. So there you can see in your life that your efforts to go to sleep leads to effortless sleep. But that effortless sleep must reveal itself. It must suck you in. Exactly the same way. Your efforts to realize must lead to sucking of the mind into the self. It's a way of expressing, okay? Sucking away of the mind means the mind becomes unmanifest, because sleep is unmanifest. So mind becomes unmanifest, but you are still awake. This is what we mean by this, the mind getting sucked into the self. This Atman cannot be attained by the study of the Vedas or by intelligence or by much hearing. It is gained by him who chooses it alone. To him the Atman reveals its true nature. See, only in Hinduism, only in Vedanta, not even Hinduism, only in Vedanta, this great declaration is made. Everywhere you are made to be a slave of scriptures and religion. Here, the text, the Vedas also say, and here masters also declare that openly, that the truth cannot be revealed by the scriptures. This truth cannot be revealed through intellectualization. Truth cannot be revealed through intuition. Truth cannot be revealed through any means or inference. Why? Because truth is self-existing. That is why. Because truth is self-existing, self-revealing. Therefore, it cannot be revealed by any other means. Then why are we studying? Then why are we studying? See, when we read this statement, don't think blasphemy. No. Make it subjective. Do you need any thinking in order to be? Do you need to think in order to be?
No.
So you are self-existing.
Better not to think.
Now, because the mind is addicted to thinking, how do we dissolve the mind? And we know every night the mind gets dissolved, isn't it? It becomes unmanifest in sleep. Now, only in the waking state you are alert. So how in the waking state we can recreate the situation or the condition of the mind when it goes to sleep without falling into trap of unwanted convictions and ideas, so that it goes back to the right place. Otherwise it can go into sleep, and if you have an idea that heaven, the mind can go to heaven, or it can go to some other place, an imaginary Gaga land, which is so scriptures teach us what is the destination. It is for the mind only, so that it does not get caught up in unwanted themes. It has the clarity of thought, of the destination. See? The idea of the scriptures is to make the mind concept free. It is, infinity is not a concept. All pervasiveness is not a concept. Self, reality, the absolute is not a concept. Only when the mind becomes concept free. Now think about it, when you go to sleep, is there any concept? The mind has to drop all the concepts, even of the sleep, thinking of the sleep also. Only then sleep comes, isn't it? Excuse me. Or in other ways you can say that the last thought it has is of the sleep. And what is that sleep for it? Where the mind is zero, isn't it? Now it requires so much study so that we replace that last thought that I want to sleep by I am the self. And when you have that last thought that I am the self, At that moment, the mind must become zero like in the sleep. But instead of gliding into sleep, the mind will glide into being zero, but you will be aware.
Yeah.
That to bring that about is all this study. It is already happening. It is already happening.
When you can be awake when you're asleep, with no
Absolutely,
thought,
absolutely.
no thought, no dream,
No
no
dream,
nothing.
absolutely.
All there is pure consciousness.
True.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I just now said was, that is already happening.
Yes.
It only a recognition required. And that recognition that I am that essentially will only come about when we had dropped everything that I believe myself to be. Isn't it? I believe I am the body. Where is this thought? In the mind, not in the self. I am a wife, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I am a seeker, I understand this, I don't understand this, I got this doubt. Why do I have to meditate, I have to be more alert. I have this fear, I have got that expectation, I see that I am withdrawing from the world, I feel that I am naturally in meditation. All these are concepts of the mind only, isn't it? Nothing to do with the self. Running commentary going on all the time, something or the other. But the purpose of studying the scriptures is so that this commentary, all like your whole commentary of the day and doing of the day, merges into that last thought, I want to sleep. Here also, in the waking state, the whole commentary of the mind and all the doing, experiencing must merge into the last thought that I am the self. And then stop. Do you keep thinking after I want to sleep? Do you keep thinking I want to sleep? Asha, have I slept or not? Then you have not slept. Right or not? Similarly, I have realized or not, this question will not be there. If this question is there, you have not reached, your mind is not absorbed yet.
No. Do we still have realization as a concept, so we have no idea?
Exactly. There is still a distance between you and yourself, meaning the mind is still a impediment. See, this fine tuning is the purpose of our scriptures, only to be dropped in the end. It is only reformatting the mind, that's all. And that is what is told here, that this Atman this self cannot be attained by the study of the Vedas, or by intelligence, or by much hearing. It is gained by him who chooses it alone. How do you choose the self? Tell me.
Dropping all other thoughts.
No. That's a natural response. How do you choose the self?
I don't
You
believe
can't
we
choose
do.
Say that.
You can't choose the self, because as an individual, we think of ourselves as the body and mind immediately. Tired of.
You have a mind at this moment.
Yes,
You have a mind.
I think I have.
And everyone has. And you have a choice to think of something or the other.
Yes, that's right.
Then how do you choose the self?
But
But going back to it each time.
You drop the mind.
By going,
You don't drop the mind. You cannot drop the mind. I'm sorry. The mind vanishes in sleep, isn't it? You don't drop the mind. So how do you choose the self? It's very, when I tell you, when I say what I have to say, you say, yeah. It's very obvious. But you're trying hard now.
You're putting too much effort.
You're putting too much effort. By being the self. You choose the self by being the self.
above all other things.
in spite of everything. So in spite of the thinking going, let the mind get reformatted by studying of scriptures, but you continue to be the self. Don't identify with the mind. See? So choosing the self means being the self.
Is that like being the witness?
Righto.
Right,
Righto. Because if you become the thinker, then you are not the witness.
no, that's right.
If you try to drop the mind, then the doing is that you have taken the individual position.
And if you think I'm witnessing, well, that means you're.
Still you are in the mind.
That's right.
Still you are in the mind. And what is witnessing?
Watching.
Watching.
Not reacting.
Say more thing, just one word. Huh?
Not reacting
Not reacting to
thoughts don't affect the mind and
to anything that is appearing in the mind. Good or bad or ugly or fearful or disgusting. No reaction. That is witnessing. But there is something to witness. And what are you witnessing? The I is witnessing the mind. Right now, the mind is identified with the mind. When we come about to a position, this, I am witnessing the mind. But what is this I essentially?
the self.
The self. So it has, I remains the same. I have said it many times. I remains the same. But which I you are considering yourself to be? Are you considering yourself to be the body I? Are you considering yourself to be the individual I? Are you considering yourself to be the witness I? Or are you considering yourself to be the absolute I? I is the same. No amount of you taking position that I am the thinking I can remove thinking. No amount of position taking of that I am the thinking person, I am an intelligent person, I have worked it all out, can ever remove the mind. Because that itself shows that you are identified with thinking. Then how will mind dissolve? Only when we disconnect from the mind, isn't it? Then, when I be the witness, when I become the witness and I don't get attached to any question that is arising in the mind, any doubt that is arising in the mind, any realization that is arising in the mind, I remain undisturbed onlooker. Then slowly the mind will start dissolving. Because there is no owner born that this is a great thought or this is not a great thought. There is no person this person does not become the owner of these thoughts. That's when the mind starts dissolving. Because this witness is maintaining its poise, is maintaining its equanimity, maintaining its witnesshood, if you want to call it that way. Then it happens. When the Atma Tattva wants to reveal its glory, then alone the truth is revealed to the seeker, not by efforts of the seeker. And all these efforts are to be made remembering that the revelation takes place only by the grace of the self and not by my efforts. And it can happen anytime. We must pursue to purify the mind, but yet there are many people, before they have purified the mind, revelation has taken place. And we can see those, and therefore you can see different masters behaving even though they are realized. Some are very rajasic, some are very sattvic, some are only meditating all the sometime in all meditating in their life. Some are having so many projects. See? So truth is revealed to the seeker by its own grace. The self is revealed to the self by its own grace, not because of the thinker. Not because of the thinker. Not due to discrimination it will come. Yet it must be practiced. Therefore, the only method is to surrender the individuality so that the sahajata, the effortlessness starts manifesting. What is this? So, surrender this individuality. Don't take ownership. This thought that is being expressing through the speaker at this moment, it is happening. The listening that is taking place, it is happening. Don't take ownership. Yeah, I understood. Oh, I spoke so well, or so much clarity was there, or unclarity was there. Don't get into those ideas in your, because immediately ownership. Don't take ownership. Don't identify with whatever is taking place. Sahajata means effortlessness. See, samadhi, normally when we say people go into samadhi, you are putting efforts to go into samadhi, isn't it? And when you come out of samadhi, what happens? The world is still there. And the urge, the yearning to go back and experience that samadhi state, that no mind state, is still there. There is a desire there to go back again. And when you come out, oh man, why did I come? But you will have to come out because your mind or your body has only that much capacity to sit quietly for so long. Then in such a seeker, the question comes, how can I make the experience that I had in samadhi into a 24/7 experience? That's when Vedanta comes into your life. So whether you are doing something or not doing something, whether the mind is thinking or not thinking, Vedanta tells you, you are already that. Then you ask the question, how can that be possible? Now a new journey begins of confusion. No. But that is the next stage. Now, how to convert that no mind state on the seat of meditation into a 24/7 experience or a state of disposition. Now, in meditation, what had happened? You had consciously weaned your mind away from the world. You made your body still. You made your breath still, or it happened. In yoga, you make it happen to a certain extent. Then you chant the name of the Lord or whatever. And then your goal is, I must be at peace within. And then eventually when the mind has subsided, we will come to the state of samadhi. But that samadhi is also an unnatural state. Why? Because it comes and goes. Everything that comes and goes is unnatural. So it was under certain set of circumstances that you brought it about. I want to experience that no-mindedness in samadhi even while I am functioning in the world. For that a major formatting of the mind is required. A major formatting is required, that while I'm seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, imagining, waking, dreaming, sleeping, at all the times, I'm having the no mind state. I'm experiencing not the no mind, but I'm experiencing myself. How is that possible? In samadhi, it was possible because mind became zero. But in the waking state, when the mind is still thinking of so many things, how can I make the mind zero and still function? Right or not? How will it happen?
By seeing the oneness.
That will happen eventually, not initially. How will it take place? How can I bring that about in spite of all activity taking place?
Because it's already happening. Because
You know that, but are you being that?
when I say it's self-evidence, it's
That you know intellectually. But are we being?
By putting the attention on the consciousness, on the self.
You cannot put attention, because if mind is putting attention, then you are saying that thinking is required to establish the self.
But if you are not putting attention on the self, then only you see the duality.
How can a Mahatma live in this world of multiplicity and still be the self?
Just by being the presence.
Of what?
Realizing that
Presence of what?
happening in his presence. It is just the being the substratum.
That means the world is still there for the substratum to be there.
Everything is part and parcel. There's only one.
Then everything is only one. But that revelation must come, no?
But that's how the Mahatmas don't they function.
How but are we there?
No, not always.
No. Seeing everything as yourself is something.
That is a revelation. That is now the formatting is complete.
Yes, yes.
But till that is not happened, my question, how this discussion that began just now was, what we are experiencing in the samadhi, we want to experience it 24/7. And 24/7 we cannot move around with an empty mind.
That's right.
Thinking will go on, seeing will go on, tasting will go on, hunger will come, pressure will come, so many things we have to do. Then how can I bring about that zero mind experience in which I realize that I am? The bliss of the self was experienced on the seat of meditation in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. How can I bring about that disposition while I am working, while I am functioning in the world?
isn't that grace again?
It will be the grace, yes, but
By giving zero value to what is happening, that's all.
if you give zero value, your attention is on the world. See how we get caught up.
You do know where to go.
We surrender. We surrender. We give up.
You do know where to go.
We think of the
No, you know. I'm just making it look at it from different angles, and
we think of the divine, not for to him.
yes. And while thinking of the self, what you had said was correct, but there is one aspect missing there.
You do everything for the self, like as an action to.
But there is still one aspect missing in that statement. It is not a complete statement. It is only half the statement. Think now.
I'm not going to think. I'm going to let you answer.
Good.
this.
Then
I'm
you
gonna
are
ask-
then
I'm
you are
gonna
there.
ask you to
Then you
go.
are there.
Hey?
When no
Then
more
you are there.
When no more questions come, we'll know.
Tell. So if you she what did you say? That put your attention of the mind while functioning in the world. While functioning in the world, put your attention on the self. That we have to do that as long as the mind is there. But then we are still in the mind if we are putting attention on the self.
Be a witness.
say,
You be aware of.
of putting the attention on the mind. Put the attention of the mind, because at this moment I am an individual, I am speaking to you right now. So I am knowing that I am talking about the self, I am thinking about the self. But while this thinking is going on, do I not know that in my presence this thinking is taking place? Otherwise, how will I know that thinking is taking place right now? Eyes are seeing. Don't you know that in your presence the seeing is taking place? Don't you know that in your presence the thoughts are coming and going, the breath is coming and going? So don't put attention on that which is coming and going. Continuously, again and again, have the disposition of being the one in whose presence all the coming and going, seeing and not seeing, hearing and not hearing, thinking or not thinking, breathing or not breathing is taking place. Because you can say breathing and not breathing, when I not breathe, between every two breaths there is non-breathing going on. Between every two thoughts, no thinking is taking place. So the more you take that disposition, everything will start slowing down. Everything will start slowing down. And when you keep that disposition, you are, even though you are in the world, but you are not affected by the world. This is dissolving the mind. Dissolving the mind from yoga point of view is making it zero. From Vedanta point of view is dissolving the mind means not getting affected by anything that is going on in the mind. Just like as I told in the meditation, right now you are all listening to me, you are not affected by the movement of the fan at the back, you are not affected by the chest of drawers here, you are not affected by the paintings. So many stimuli are there, but you are not affected by them. You know that they are there, but you are not, it is not disturbing you. Till I say, look at that Krishna, see how beautiful face is. See, three people are looking at it. Now you got disturbed. Your attention went to something and it did not follow the... Right now you are attentive on the speech. But that very moment when the speech indicated something, it went there. But when the speech is talking about the self, just be the witness, and we don't see anything, we don't become subjective, then sleep comes, or this is too difficult. Then how to get out of that situation? Ask a question. It's the easy way out. It's the easy way out. Because I don't want to face myself. Because if I face myself as I am, all my questions will go away. How can I live without questions? How can I live without my doubts? How can I live without any confusion? How can I live without realization? Is it possible? All my life I have been seeking realization and I have to give up the thought of realization. No. But we have to be courageous to let go of that also. And that letting go, you don't have to do it. Keep it there. But you shift the attention and not even attention of the mind, but know that this mind is thinking of the self in my presence. Because thinking, it is happening, and you can recount what thought came 1 minute ago. Isn't it? How can you recount the thought that came 1 minute ago? You can recount it only if you were other than the thought, isn't it? Only then you can recount it.
Yes.
So if I am saying that 30 seconds ago I said, how can I recount? Oh, I just said this. Yeah, I said this. How do I know? because I was separate to the thinking that was taking place. So take that position. Who is this fellow? That is me. Who is this me? Who is unaffected by what thinking is taking place. In my presence, the mind is thinking about the self. Continuously, uddharet atmana atmanam. In the self, by the self, for the self. The self is self-existing. No amount of words, no amount of thoughts can reveal the self to you. Only by being the self. See? So yes, at one stage, as the thinking, right now if I tell you, you have to go to sleep, you will not go to sleep. Swamiji, don't challenge us. We just got up. How can I go back to sleep? But you know that tonight you will go to sleep. Agree or not?
Yes.
You know you are going to go to sleep. Now a sufficient letting go of the mind has to take place till night comes, that, and you know that sleep will come one day, sometime during the day or at night. Vedanta is saying you are already the self. You know that you are already the self. But the right conditions must come about for the sleep to come about. And here we are, but through our thinking process, through our contemplation, we are trying to create the right condition so that the impact of the mind as an impediment becomes neutralized through this contemplation process. And when does it get neutralized? When it's thinking about the self. And while thinking about the self, what are the words saying? That be the self and be the presence in whose presence the mind is thinking thinking of the self. And as the mind slows down, it will become self-evident. So when I say the statement that you are the one, you cannot be identified with the thoughts, you are separate from the thoughts, that's why you can recount it. Suddenly it clicks, yeah, it is true, but we are not able to stay there in that disposition. Why? Because still the thoughts are going so fast.
So the thing is to allow the thoughts to be slowed.
Slowed down.
By not
So
paying
right
too
now,
much attention to them.
absolutely. So right now you know the sleep will come. But till the thoughts don't slow down, sleep will not come.
So the same principle applies
To
the
the self also.
The same principle.
Exactly.
And having the faith that by you doing that, it will happen.
And you don't have to wait till night to go to sleep.
No.
If you can bring about the condition of the mind, if the mind slows down to a certain extent here, you can go to sleep now also. So if the mind can contemplate intensely, effortlessly, continuously, joyfully on the self at this moment, and mind does not like repetition, it will slow down. And when it slows down, it will become self-evident. And after that, what will happen? Whether the mind is busy or not busy, you know who you are. Then there is no question of going back and being the mind. Till a realization comes that everything is the self alone. See?
And the mind doesn't feel threatened then, does it? Because it realises it's part
It
of
is continuing.
Yeah.
It is continuing only because it does not realize that essentially it is the truth alone. Essentially. The wave will keep seeking because it does not realize that it is already water. That is why seeking is going on. So here who is seeking? Body is not seeking. The self is not seeking. Who is seeking? The mind is seeking. You see? Now this is nothing too much to contemplate. Just allow it to sink in. That's it. Then comes sahajata. This sahaja marg means effortlessly living as the self in and through your daily life. Which you are already, it's like telling the wave, effortlessly be the water in and through your life of a wave. It is already water, man. Scriptures are telling us, be the self in and through your daily life. In effortless meditation, one can sit in the lap of the Lord for hours without discomfort. That is how great saints like Swami Samartha sat in Samadhi for centuries and woke up fresh and glorious like burnished gold. See? In this way, in this OV, the great saint tells us, let us sleep in our own being. Sleep in our own being means let us get absorbed in our own being. Let us get absorbed means what? When we say let us, it is the mind is saying this, isn't it? Let the mind be absorbed into the self, into its own being. The self is natural, effortless existence where pure knowledge is evident. So who will know what? This seeing by not seeing is the state of being established in one's own essential nature. This abidance in one's own essential nature is called samadhi or self-realization. So, one can be absorbed in spite of all the thoughts that are there. In spite of all the world, one can be absorbed in the self. Only your definition of I needs to change. Only your acceptance of yourself. Are you a thinking person? Are you a seeker? Are you the wave? Are you the ocean? Or are you the water? And become convinced of it, and then start having, and once you get convinced of it and be it, then that will be your disposition. And in this way, from OV 156, the theme of recreation begins when it is said that there is total absorption of duality. Does that mean there will be no world? Here the principle of Kala Chakra, the wheel of time, is established. Creation is not a straight line. It is a cycle. That means there never was a beginning, never can there be an end. On a circle, every point is both a beginning and an end. Therefore, manifestation and absorption, creation and destruction are eternally going on. Eternally going on. The moment we become the water, from water's point of view, there is only I am. But the phenomena of appearance and disappearance of waves is happening at every point on the water, isn't it? Every point on the water.
The waves don't go anywhere, they think they're ending.
And our fear of death is because we have become a wave. So take the position of the ocean or take the position of the water. Start looking down from the ocean point of view. Remember, wave looking at another wave, only comparison, competition. Wave looking at ocean, a seeker is born. Ocean looking at wave, all the waves are in me, and we love ourselves the most. So what will be the ocean? Is it a selfish journey? No. I alone am. Then whatever I am, does the tongue bitten by the teeth, do we pull the teeth out? No, tongue also I am, teeth also I am. There is love and compassion towards everything and all expressions. I consider myself to the whole body, but all the different limbs that are there, because they are my expression, I love all of them, isn't it? I don't like this hand or I love this hand. Nothing like that. Because all is me only. So can ocean have any biasness towards any of its expression? Can it? Cannot. Everything is it only. So if when we are living in our life, rather than take the position of an individual, continue to take the position of the total. Take that higher standpoint. Be courageous. That I don't understand it. When we are looking at the whole world, we are looking at the differences, we are looking at our relatives, we are looking at our friends, we are looking at our children, and we are all that is because we have taken the position that I am only this body. Okay, accepted. Mind has this disposition that it is only this body, this thought is there. But mind also knows that I am everything because the scriptures have been exposed to it. It is not its experience yet. Then how can I make this experience to reveal itself, to become solidified within the mind? By continuing to have that disposition again and again and again and again and again, till a point comes where your obsession with this body becomes nullified.
I need to know, can I go back around the other way and do this? In other words, instead of, I find it hard to put my attention on the self. I would find it easier for me to sort of know in my mind that this thought or this experience or this whatever is happening in the mind. Oh, how am I going to explain that? To be continuously aware that everything is outside of me and
This is how we begin. We must begin that way only.
you know, like sort of becoming aware, that's what I'm trying to say. Becoming aware that this is just a thought in my mind and I am it. It
Correct.
sees that.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, I find it easy.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, I find it easier.
It's like the TV screen saying all the images that are appearing in me.
Yeah.
But are the images the TV screen? Are the images the TV screen? No. TV screen is all that there is. All the images that appeared on the TV screen are mere imaginations. Because they come and go. TV screen is the permanent thing. Mind screen is the permanent thing. All the thoughts, images, words, emotions, concepts, ideas, seeking, not seeking, waking, dream, deep sleep, these are all images coming on the mind and then going away. Coming on the mind and on the screen of the mind and going away. But mind screen remains the same. When your attention is on the mind screen, you are with the self. When your attention is on the screen of the mind, you are with the self. If your attention is on on the images that are coming and going, or if your attention is on the thoughts that are coming and going, we are forgetting the basis. We are forgetting the foundation. And when we are looking at the screen, when a TV is on, you are looking at the screen, but is the screen visible to you? What is visible? Images are visible. So when we are looking at the mind or the consciousness, what are we looking at? We are looking at thoughts, words, emotions, etc. So we are forgetting, our attention is going on everything that is coming and going, which is the thoughts, and because our attention is on the thoughts, we are missing on what are these thoughts coming and going.
Well, doesn't that mean simply what I said, that you have to...
I'm just putting it in different words.
Yeah.
I'm putting the same thing in different words. Exactly. Huh? But whatever works, there are many ways of looking at it, approaches. Important is not which way you took, which way of you approach it from. Important is to realize that you are already that. Because today I talked like this, next class I'll talk in different way.
We're used to that.
Scriptures also speak the same way. So it has become so that no concept is created in the mind. We keep cancelling.
So it's a matter for me for just becoming aware as often as I can.
As of yourself.
Yeah, but for myself, to realise that this is outside of me. And when I come to that awareness each time, it should
Correct,
get more
correct,
and more
correct,
and more
correct,
and more.
correct.
It's a separate
And it must result in quietening of the mind. And it may not happen in one day, it may not happen in 2 days, because sometimes what we eat, how we have behaved, what is our interaction with the world, all that all that adds up. But over a period of time, if you know from so many years, you have settled down quite a bit, isn't it? I can look at myself and I can see that how my mind has evolved over the period of last 20, 30, 40 years. Every one of you can do that. So our mind, if we are being aware, the mind must settle down if we are aware. And I can, at a moment's notice, if I sit in meditation, I will start speaking and I will remain aware, and eventually when the mind stops, then there is no urge to speak anymore. There is no urge to think anymore. And even if thinking comes about, because in meditation I am speaking sometimes, even if thinking, a thought needs to be presented, I am watching that this thought has come. You are aware. Keep taking that disposition, and then after some time, whether thoughts come or don't come, it does not matter.
I feel it's important not to keep evaluating your progress.
No, you don't.
No, that I think is a negative.
Because again you are becoming an individual.
Yes. And I'm going, I'm managing that quite well. Oh, and then you
Gone. And then the ego will come over. I have really evolved, compared. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.